Plan on flying? In order to board domestic flights, your driver's license or state-issued ID must be a real ID. Learn how to get your real ID today at tsa.gov/realid or visit your local DMV.
And we're back. We really are back. We were gone, and now we're back. Calling Mr. Mike Black. Now that we're back. That was kind of hack.
Hello.
Hello. We are back.
Yeah.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. Yeah. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, listen to a pocket party. Pocket party. Darren.
Yeah, okay, let's keep the listeners updated. I know they're on the edge of their seats. So what happened was my computer crashed, and I had to put it in the shop, and it's been there for, like, they said 7 to 10 days, and it was more like 12 to 14 days. and it's funny, like something that I didn't even use like years ago, now it's become a big part of my life, because every day I wake up, I drink my coffee, I edit my videos, I upload them, and I try to move the needle of my career a little bit further ahead.
Right.
Which is, it's crazy. Like I was on the way to the computer store to pick up my computer, and I thought, man, what's worse for me? Like not having a computer or not having a car when my car was in the shop? And I got to be honest, when my car was in the shop, they at least gave me a rental, and I could drive around while they're out there fixing it in mysterious land. Like, okay, they're doing their thing. And then sure enough, I get the car back. Boom, the car,
right.
But I mean, that's a big part of it, that they gave me a rental. So that was a big part of it.
You know that some computer place tried giving out rentals, and when they got them back, they were so loaded with porn.
Exactly.
They were like, yeah, we just can't do this anymore.
Yeah, our computers are disgusted. There's all this stuff all over it. Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't even want a loaner computer, because you're right. You're like, I don't know, man. This feels weird, putting all my passwords into this thing that I'm giving it back.
Oh, God, no, yeah.
So
that'd be terrible.
Yeah, exactly. And it would just even be a nightmare of memory. I'm sure there's like people that are really organized, and they're like, no, you put your passwords here, and then you offload it, and you save it to this disk drive, or I'm not even using the right words, but you know what I mean. Like, so.
Yeah. Well, I did a thing yesterday that I was like trying to see if there was a way to expand the life of my PlayStation 4. And online there are all sorts of tips and stuff. And one guy was like, yeah, you can empty all the empty out the cache and reconstruct the drive or whatever. And you do that once a month, and it kind of like cleans out all the cobwebs basically. And I was like, oh, great. And so I did that, and I didn't really think about it. And then when I turned it back on, it was like, you know that you can download video games on here. It was like the first time using it all over again.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh man, now I got to go through all the preferences and everything.
Oh, yeah, see?
Change everything, and whenever my phone gets new software, it doesn't save preferences. It's like, screw all that. He'll want to just start fresh with the things we like to do, like having your Bluetooth on. Like I'll be walking around with my Bluetooth on around Los Angeles for like 2 days before I know that it's on. And it's like anyone who hacks would be just pouncing on it.
Yeah. He doesn't. Yeah, exactly. All those little weird things. Right. Yeah. Like, do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
I think they have like a thing where people can it can airdrop stuff to you if you don't have it like.
Right. Yeah. If you have it on like
open to
Bluetooth,
anybody,
unless you really know what you're doing, you just shouldn't mess with Bluetooth. Is the upshot of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like just use it for like I use Bluetooth only for my AirPods, like when I'm and my radio, but or my speaker, but. Yeah, because I've heard of cases.
But those are like devices that and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what they say. Unknown devices. Yeah, because there's like I've heard of cases of people like dropping dick pics on airplanes to people, like through AirDrop.
Right, or like this device wants to pair with you, and download all your data.
Ooh.
So
yeah, it's like,
because like people think, oh, someone just wants to use my Wi-Fi on the plane. What could that hurt? Well, don't do that.
Yeah, because there's people who get a kick out of it. They know how to do it once. They're like, oh, I'm going to keep doing this, and just screw that. I hate that.
Yeah, like they're not even trying to be criminals. They're just trying to be dicks.
Yeah. So I got the computer back, and of course, it's so weird. Like, do you have a computer?
No, not really.
See, that's great. See, none of these problems would even exist to you. Like, you're not dealing with. Yeah.
I used to have a iPad, but I didn't know how to carry it around. Just walking around society, I was like, I don't want to keep it in a bag.
Oh, your iPad? Usually people put it in a they get a cover for it, like a case.
Yeah, I know, but like it just seems silly to have this humongous version of my phone, basically.
That's
when
true.
I have my phone that I can carry around,
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Like, it didn't really fit in your pocket, and you're like,
Yeah, the only thing it was good for was like it took better pictures. But I was like, I really don't care about pictures enough to carry this humongous thing around.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because there's a lot of. I think I've seen some Christmas movies. I forget what it was called, but it was with Will Ferrell, where the children are doing like their Christmas rehearsal or their Christmas show at the elementary school, and they say, "Please, no photos. We have a professional photographer that will be videographing this show." And then the minute these kids start singing, all these giant iPads go up in the air and block everyone's view.
Right? Yeah.
It was so funny to see. Like, but
I was like, it might be great for taping stand-up, but I thought anyone who sees that in the back of the room is just going to go, oh, free iPad.
Yeah, exactly. With all this banking information on it.
Right.
Yeah. It's so like what I use my computer for, my wife will differ. She's like, every time I walk in, you're listening to Weezer on it or Frank Sinatra.
She should be so grateful. She should fall to her knees praying, thank God that when I walk in on my husband on the computer, he's listening to old ditties from the 40s and 50s or whatever.
I know. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Tell her next time she gives you any grief about that, ask around the other wives if they've ever walked in on their husband on the computer.
No, but
ask them to tell you a few horror stories about that.
Right. But once I learned how to edit, I was like, oh, this is like in my hands. I don't have to rely on like tagging. I used to go to like an editor, and he would edit stuff, and they charge you by the hour, and then you get your stuff back, and he'd burn it to all that stuff. So once I figured out, I was like, for me personally, I got tired of not knowing how to do stuff. So I go on YouTube, watch the tutorials. And around 4 years ago, I just kickstarted my YouTube up. I'm like, boom, I'm going to put out podcasts, videos, and then I'll tell you what really helps is shorts. If anyone out there is trying to do anything on YouTube, upload shorts, YouTube shorts.
Like just the ones you're wearing, or
upload your YouTube shorts. Try to stuff a zucchini down there or an eggplant, but no, you're like, hey, I got to get my iPad back. No.
Look at the viewers I'm getting.
I'm getting views. No, but it's their version of like TikTok. So I'm gonna go technical real quick. 9:16, where the video version is up and down, like not horizontal.
Like your phone.
Yeah, not the word horizontal. What's the other word?
Vertical.
Vertical, yes. Boom. How do you remember the word? I know horizontal and this is, maybe I'm a sick perv, but I know horizontal means lay down, and I would always think horizontal. That's how I know it lays down.
That's really sad.
Horizontal. Yeah.
I remember someone calling it the horizontal mambo.
Oh, yeah. See, there you go. They, by the way, shout out to Alex. He and his son listen to the podcast. I saw him at the Comedy Store, and he said that because this show is mainly clean, his 11-year-old son likes to listen to it on the way to school. So shout out Alex and son.
Yeah. So it's clean basically except for me.
Except for, But you said, ooh, you guys got dirty. You said horizontal mambo. Ooh.
Yeah. If that counts as dirty, we're fucked.
Oh, yikes. Ooh. I'll have to bleep that. Mambo word. No, yeah, exactly. I don't think they mind a few, because they probably hear dirtier
stuff. If you replace all the F-bombs with mambo.
Yeah. Then we're mamboed. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it's so cool to meet listeners.
Speaking of that, I just saw because it's the Thanksgiving season. They had I think it was like the 35th anniversary of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, I love that movie.
And when he comes to the rental car,
I love that.
Gives that monologue of F-bombs, and it's the lady. She's such a great character actress, but I think her name's Edie McClurg.
Yeah, Edie McClurg. Yes, I've met her a couple times in Burbank.
Yeah, it crushes it in that scene because it's like the cheeriest, nicest person in the world.
Yeah,
and he's just bawling her out like it's so beautifully. It was John Hughes was such an amazing filmmaker to come up with that movie in the first place, but that it was so well done. And I was watching it and I was like, everyone in this movie is just at the top of their game. Steve Martin, John Candy, all the character actors that they meet throughout their journey are just incredible. It's such a good film. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out.
It's so good. Let me see if I can find that monologue. Planes, Trains, and...
You're going to have to bleep a lot, but yeah.
Well, I know. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can find it written, though. Monologue. Oh, gosh. Can you keep talking? I'm sorry. This thing keeps wanting me to put passwords in. I just want to look up something on Google. What the heck? So annoying. Okay, I already put in my password. Anyways, maybe I should just do this later. Screw it. You want to just Google something, and it's like, forget it. So annoying.
I think I remember almost all of it.
Where he's like, because he just had it up to his ears, and he was like, my rental car. Yeah. How's it going?
Yeah, and she goes, may I help you? And he goes, you can start by wiping that dumbass fucking smile off your rosy fucking cheeks. Sir, I really don't care for the way you're speaking to me. Well, I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of fucking nowhere with fucking keys to a fucking car that isn't fucking there. And I had to walk down a fucking runway to get here just to have you look at me with that dumbass fucking face. I want a fucking car, 4 fucking wheels and a seat, a fucking Datsun, a fucking Buick, a fucking Hyundai. I want a fucking car right fucking now.
Yeah.
Do you have your rental agreement? I threw it away. Oh boy, what? You're fucked.
It was so good.
That's pretty close to it.
That's pretty close to it. Bravo.
But,
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember saying that at school, like to my friends at school, and just cracking them up. I had a lot of friends that didn't have cable, so I would act out movies for them.
That's funny. I did that with Rocky 3.
I did that with that and with a lot of stand-up. Like if I did what I did back then professionally, I'd be banned from the business. I was just stealing all these jokes, but I credited everyone. That was the funny part. Is even as a kid, I understood that I was like, these are not my jokes. This is I'm doing Rodney Dangerfield's jokes right now.
I remember this girl told me I was really funny in 9th grade, and I was like, but I'm just doing Eddie Murphy's material, or I didn't say material.
Right,
but
yeah.
I'm just saying what Eddie Murphy said. She's like, but you're funny, and I realized like, oh, because I'm saying stuff other than Eddie Murphy, and then that's just the cherry on top of the pie, or whatever you'd say,
Yeah, and you were learning from that, like learning how to tell a joke.
Yeah.
Just, a lot of people, you can give them the greatest joke in the world, and they cannot tell it. It's an actual skill. Like, I don't think you and I think about it that much, but, why did the chicken cross the road is challenging as hell to a lot of people.
Right. Because the
timing, just understanding the jokes that you're telling. A lot of people don't do that,
Yeah,
and public speaking, just being able to having the confidence to tell a joke, whether it's funny or not, to the audience that you're targeting.
Another thing that you learn is I've learned as time has gone on, just in the real world, not stand up, but like the real world, is knowing when to like lay low and just let other people shine. Like I don't have to be the center of attention. You know, when I was younger, you're just so hungry for that laugh. Like if everything that comes to your mind that could be funny, you're like, and you just throw it out there. Then eventually you learn like, oh, I don't have to do that now. I can kind of. That was one thing I really learned.
Let someone else shine a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and also you learn like the pacing of it. Like if I'm always the one that every time I open my mouth I say something, after a while it kind of wears thin. You become the annoying guy. You know, like you're always on. You're always on. You know.
Yeah, even if you're hilarious, people start rolling their eyes. You know, they're like, "Oh, here he comes."
Oh, he's got his hand up. He's going to ask a question, and it's going to be trying to be funny again.
Yeah,
you know, it's like I learned. Yeah, I remember I'd be in these acting classes, you know, and I was like, "Oh, let me just pace it. Maybe say 2 funny things per class. Like, don't every time I throw my, you know."
Yeah, less is more a lot of times on stuff like that, you know. But yeah, like I had a friend that I won't say who it was, but I had a friend in college who he was all about volume. He was like, I'm going to tell 50,000 jokes and maybe 3 of them will hit, but I'll be happy that 3 of them hit.
Yeah.
And man, that got old fast. And like, it was just like the first day, everyone was like, this guy's a genius. And then like 2 weeks later, they're like, I need him to be moved down the hall.
Give him the light.
I don't want him living near me, you know?
Yeah. Man, I was outside earlier today. You know, I don't usually get out that early, but with the time change, by the way, with the time change, my clock is right in my car again.
Oh, good for you.
That time is correct again. But
you have to celebrate those little victories.
The little victories. 6 months out of the year, the time is correct. Yeah, they supposedly the clock is gonna. It's the dealership was like, yeah, it's gonna all change, and then everyone's clock is gonna be correct again when it connects to like this on this date, and the date has come and gone, and it did get it a little bit more correct. At least it's within the hour, like it's on the hour, like it's correct. It's still 5 minutes fast, which I'm cool with. But
yeah, that's the upside of that technology. The downside of it is that they'll be able to control your speed.
I know, right? Like yeah, where you're just like,
it's like, great, my clock's on time, but I'm late, and there's nothing I can do about it now.
Yeah.
Lucky me. You know?
You're late, but my clock's on time.
Yeah. Wah, wah.
Yeah, so I was up early, you know, with the whole time change. You're like, wow, and especially because it rained a couple days ago. It is so bright outside today here in Los Angeles. Like the sky is blue, the sun is shining.
Yeah, it's always great after it's rained. You know, like when the sun comes out, it really pops out after.
It sure does, man. What was that thing you said earlier on the phone about the LA makes its own gravy or something?
Yeah, yeah. It's just when it rains on LA, just all the street slime and you know.
Yeah, you know we have like the LA River, right? Which is just
grime and stuff. Yeah.
Those cement canals. I saw online. I saw a car floating in the river, like just the water rushing, picking up the car. And
God!
Pushing it around, like.
Yeah, it's not quite Detroit level where like there was that lake that caught fire there.
Whoa!
Like,
yeah.
Because of all the chemicals and stuff, you know. Like we're not quite there yet, but we're working on it.
Did you get the flood warning on Tuesday on your phone?
I did, and it was just bullshit for me anyway. Like I looked outside and I was like, it's a light drizzle, but you know,
yeah.
It was kind of like, you know, people joke about it all the time. No one in LA knows how to drive in the rain.
Yeah.
And it can be like the lightest drizzle ever, and they're just freaking out on the freeway. You know, they just don't know what the hell they're doing. But you know, the truth is, I lived in Colorado, which was more snow than rain, and it's a different thing altogether. But I went to the Grove the other day, and none of LA is built for rain, even though it rains here all the time.
Yeah.
But that's like a big outdoor mall with cement walkways all over the place. And after it's rained, those basically become slip and slides.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like it's all smooth marble and stuff like that. So they had put out all these rugs, you know, so that people could walk on something with traction. And I'm walking on those, and I'm seeing other people walking on the concrete part, and I'm like, oh, you never actually hurt yourself before.
Oh yeah, you gotta
like that shit'll change once you if you've ever like slipped and fallen and hit your back or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Suddenly all that stuff is no joke anymore. You're just like, nope, I'm walking on this rug or whatever it takes to feel safe.
Oh walking. Yeah, one time I was in Milwaukee and I was funny, has the word walkie in it, Milwaukee, and I was mill running, and I was coming from my I got off the elevator and they had just mopped the lobby, and it was I went down the little ramp, and of course it's at an angle, and boom, I fell down hard. And, you know, at that time I was probably like 30, so I fell down. It hurt, but I just popped up and kept going. But I thought, man, what if you're older and you actually, or maybe hit the back of your head or something? You know? Yeah,
if you're older, you can do some real damage. But I remember when I was a kid, there was a store called Woolworth that used to be a pretty famous chain.
Oh yeah, Woolworths.
But they had I remember it was around Christmas time. We were Christmas shopping, and there was glass doors as you came in, and like a sheet of black ice on the ground in front of it. Now, black ice is just ice on black concrete, and it's really treacherous because people don't know it's there.
Yeah.
So this was a combination of black ice and glass doors that no one could fucking see.
Whoa.
And so my mom was like, come on, let's go shop. I was like, you go on ahead. I'm going to see how this plays out for a minute. And sure enough, this dude came in, like big heavy set guy, and I'm a little bastard kid. I don't care and don't warn him or anything like that.
Yeah.
But he walks right into the door, like, and you hear his head goes like thump, like against the door. And then he kind of like is knocked back by that, and then the black ice gets him, and he and like falls over. And I was like, yes,
Three Stooges in real life. Yes. Yeah. Hey, I just have a new product for you. You could, after the shows, you could stand by the exit and sell Mike Black Ice.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. And he was lying there like, help me up, and no one would help him up. And there's all he saw was this like 7-year-old kid just pointing and laughing while he waited for someone to help him.
Oh man,
Karma got me back. I like to think that that guy, if he has passed on, or maybe he just saw me around town. I have slipped on black ice probably 20 times in my life.
Whoa.
Like, I used to wear Doc Martens just because I was more of a punk kind of kid.
Yeah.
And they are not made for snow. And they have no traction whatsoever on the bottom of them. And so I would slip all over the place, wearing those things. One time I was putting my keys in my car, and my feet just went out from under me, but I didn't let go of the key.
Oh, no.
So I'm just like holding the door as my body falls completely all the way down. And I was like, this has to look just idiotic to anyone who saw it,
Man, don't get caught slipping on that black ice.
Yes.
what was I going to say? So I was outside and it was just so sunny, and it just, I do like when it rains. It's funny, that flood warning thing. It was during one of my writing sessions with Fraser Smith.
Oh, and so you guys were in severe danger.
Yeah, severe danger. Well, I knew it was. They said
at the steakhouse.
They said it was at the steakhouse. They were like, it's going to rain really hard all day Tuesday. So he's like, hey, what day of the week do you want to get together? I go, let's get together Tuesday because we can't go outside anyways. So we got together at 3, and I usually end up parking on the street because I'm like, I don't want to do valet. This is, I'm not going to pay $10 to, you know what I mean, or whatever it is. I'm like, let's park on the street, which is usually fine, and it's plenty of parking spaces. And during that 20 minutes from the time I left to go over there, it was a crazy rainstorm. That's when, like, it was, I don't know if it was a microburst, but it was just pouring down. Like, we're talking like epic movie hurricane, like just, you have the windshield wipers on all full blast, like, and the water next to you looks like a river where it's just like just rushing down in the gutter. And there was one spot available, and it was by a storm drain where all this water was just rushing into the storm drain. But I cautioned because I was like, I remembered a story of a friend that back in the 90s parked by a storm drain, and somehow debris got caught up in the river, and then the rushing water, and it got caught, and then next thing you know, trash was blocking the storm drain, and it built a puddle, and then water got into his parked car, and believe it or not, in LA, his car got totaled because of water damage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That can happen.
So
everyone assumes that their cars are these airtight capsules.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, if the air conditioner can get to you,
yeah,
so can water.
Right.
And all that stuff. You don't want your engine
in
3 feet of water.
No.
Ever.
All the spark plugs get doused, and they
and like the glove box is pretty much leads to the outside. If you flip it open and look up under it,
true,
it goes straight to the outside. So you don't want. You also in LA, you shouldn't put a lot of food in your car either, because that attracts, shit from outside,
rodents and whatnot. Yeah, you're right. They
I stopped at a Walgreens, and there was a. You know how you sometimes can see other cars in the parking lot, and just motion caught my eye.
Yeah.
I saw a rat go up under someone's car, crawl up, and I don't know where it went.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to shop somewhere else now.
Wow.
And it's like any place in LA has that problem.
Oh, you're right. But whenever we go to the farm, my wife's always like, okay, make sure there's no loose nuts in your car, like cashews or just almonds or whatever,
Smart.
But you're right though. You don't want that, because I know the cats like to go up and rest on the tires and the engines and stuff. But you're right. That's I
remember when I first moved here, seeing some guy talk to a valet, and he goes, "Please leave the windows rolled up. I know you guys like to roll them down for convenience and stuff. Please leave my windows rolled up." And I remember thinking, what a dick, giving the valet all these demands and stuff like that. And now anytime I have to do it, I'm like, can you please leave the windows rolled up?
Yeah. And you know how I have that rope ladder that you guys usually put so the animals can climb up the rope ladder? Can you please don't unravel the rope ladder? To my passenger door.
Whatever you do. Please do not leave a block of cheese in the passenger seat.
Can you please not leave a bag of cheese, some loose carrots, and
that's all I ask. Please
and
don't
breadcrumbs leading to
the rodents
to my glove compartment. Yeah. Can you please surround
dangle a tiny mouse to attract other mice? Yeah.
And do you mind surrounding my Tesla with mouse traps, if you don't mind?
This ball of yarn that you've put in here is not helpful.
And catnip and
the gravy trail all the way to the door.
That's hilarious. You just leave roach motels all over your dashboard.
Right, yeah.
The valet's like, this guy's insulting. No, I'm cautious. I've listened to other...
I freak out when a fly comes into my car,
Oh, that's a weird... Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Get out.
Yeah, roll the windows down. Get out there, blow out there. Just,
Yeah, I'm trying to coax it out of the car, and it's meanwhile, oncoming traffic is happening.
I know, you got to be careful. I was in my car once, and a bee was in there, and I just rolled the windows down and just didn't think about it. So just blow all that wind, just get out of here, bee.
Because my first thought is always, if I don't get rid of it right now, it's going to lay eggs, and then I'm going to have 1,000 flies in here or something.
Looking like Pigpen from Charlie Brown.
Right, exactly.
Here comes Mike Black. Oh, that'd be hilarious. Just a big
What happened? Someone left a cashew in his car,
and flies came in and laid eggs. Yeah. Now he has to put spiders in there to get the eggs. To get the flies. You have a whole thing going on.
And then he put a horse in there to catch the cow.
Yeah. So when I parked, I made sure I kind of was on a little bit of a grade, so the water was rushing past me, and I parked about. I know you're legally supposed to park 18 inches from the curb, but I kind of
what?
Yeah. You're not supposed to go right up against the curb. You're supposed to not go.
I get not right up against the curb, but do they realize how far 18 inches is from the curb?
Oh, wait a second. The law is you can't be further than 18 inches. That's what it was. Further than 18.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's insanity.
So yeah, you got it. So I made sure that I was at the limit. That way the water would go by, and in case anything caught up, it wouldn't like go up into the car. And my car was fine, and the water it was good. But by the time I parked and walked to the front door of the steakhouse, the rain had started to like become, like you said, more of a regular rain. Like, okay, this isn't so bad. I have an umbrella and I have a rain jacket, but this isn't crazy rain. And and then we got the alarm like flood warning, and I was like, did it get bad again? And I went outside again just to check. And you're right, it wasn't much. But apparently, as the storm cloud was moving east, it went to like those burn areas where all the mudslides could happen and all that. So maybe the flood was out maybe more towards, Altadena or Big Bear or whatever.
Yeah, that's part of the problem with California is that it's such a huge area that, you'll get, like, I'll get Amber Alerts on my phone and it's like, the last seen in San Diego. And it's like, okay, well, there's nothing I can do about San Diego,
Yeah. Yeah. What was one of the jokes we wrote for Frasier? Like something about, I'm sweating like Johnny Depp getting an Amber Alert. Like Amber Heard Alert. Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
I love writing. Yeah, they don't work for me, but the jokes work for him. Okay, you know Kanye, right? His nickname is Yee.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Okay, so
that was it. That was.
Well, no, that wasn't it. I just wanted to let the audience know that, so they'll get this next joke. Boy, Kanye even got canceled from Christmas carols. Yeah, they took the Ye out of "Oh Come All Ye Faithful." Come on, guys. That's Frasier's. No. Isn't it funny how I think other people's acts wouldn't work for us? Like,
yeah, it's true.
I mean, there's comedians that are, they're kind of known for like stealing jokes, but I mean, but generally, like things that I do probably wouldn't work for you or Frasier. Things that Frasier Smith does wouldn't work for you or me, and things that you do wouldn't work for me or Frasier.
Yeah, I think you don't see a lot of guys stealing entire acts. You see them steal like one or two jokes.
Yeah.
That are kind of universal truths that anyone could tell. Like, I don't have a lot of those in my act, so I don't worry about it. But
right.
like,
yeah,
but there's some jokes that are just like anyone could tell that joke.
Right.
And I think there are definitely guys that look for those, that look for like, that's a joke that I could tell and no one would notice or no one would think I stole it, And we know you're out there, you bastards. Do that.
You're listening, and you're listening now for some gold, but you're not going to get it.
The truth is, though, like a lot of those guys make the mistake of putting it out on social media, and usually, eventually, if you do that long enough, someone is going to find other social media that predates yours by a long time, where it's like, oh, that's an old Jerry Seinfeld joke, and there are a lot of people out there that love finding stuff like that and going, this guy stole this, and this. That's what happened to Mencia, and a few other comics that's happened to, like they actually talked about it on the show, but Dane Cook had a lot of stuff that was very, very similar to Louis C.K. And so a lot of people put out, clips of both of them side by side going, you be the judge, but Louis C.K. did this 10 years ago, Yeah,
that was weird, huh? There was like 3 bits.
Yeah.
I remember and I was like, wow, they're actually...
But they actually, like Louis C.K. did a pretty cool thing by having him on the show Louis, and they made a whole episode about the two of them having to talk to each other because of an industry thing. And they, I think I don't think they wrote a script. I think they just hashed out their beef with each other on camera. And it was pretty interesting to watch,
Who's on first, that famous Abbott and Costello bit?
Yeah.
I used to listen a lot to Gilbert Gottfried's podcast, and they were saying that they weren't the first comedians to do that. Like, they were the ones that made it famous, and they're known for it, but it was like a common vaudeville bit, apparently.
Yeah, vaudeville was a different animal. It was, everyone did everything. Like, basically the rule of vaudeville, from what I understood, was if you see something,
you say something,
vaudeville, and you can actually do it yourself, do it. You know,
right?
Like, and back then, this was like sing for your supper times. This was the Depression and stuff like that, you know. And so if you saw someone juggle, and you're like, I'm going to go learn how to juggle so I can feed myself and not die.
Right.
You know,
it
was a different time. It's like now, you know, people stealing from each other, I'm a lot less inclined to forgive. But at that time, it was like, oh, that guy knows how to tap dance, I'm going to learn how to tap dance too. It was like a business. It was like, you know, the way you stayed alive.
And I think it went further than like just juggling, and I think it was actually like bits, you know, like stories and
right.
Like jokes that they would.
But yeah, it was, vaudeville was like all kinds of different acts, but they had like, little sketches and stuff like that people would do. And like Chaplin would do, before he got famous for being the Tramp, he was really well known in England for being a really good drunk act. You know, he would go on stage and do a whole sketch as a drunk guy, and people loved it. But there were like 50 guys doing that, you know. And a lot of them would do the exact same material here and there. And nobody really cared as long as they got fed, you know, and paid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't really matter, because it wasn't like anyone was getting super, super famous off of it, you know. And it wasn't like the idea, everyone knew that was watching vaudeville that like, oh, a lot of this stuff mashes together and it's all just a kind of a grab bag. But with stand-up, the big distinction I think with stand-up is that when you go on stage, what you're selling to the audience is your original thoughts, or at least the idea of that.
Yeah.
That like, oh, this is me giving you stuff from my point of view in my life. And so if all of that is taken from other comedians, it sucks. You know,
it sucks. It's like, and then exactly. Because as comedians who are like true artists who really, you know, come up with our own stuff, tell our own stories, have our own ideas, then you see someone else just sort of skimming off the top. And you know.
It's to me at that point, it's not stand-up, it's karaoke basically.
Yeah.
You know, only you're not giving credit to the artist that created it. You're going, I thought of this myself. Like, what's the deal with Raisin Bran? You know,
right?
Well,
like
I'm sorry, that's not you, dude.
Yeah, and you know what's great is like every single joke that I say on stage, I can tell you when I came up with it, how the situation happened, and it's great when it's real. You know what I mean? Like, for example, my son is he's almost 5'10". By the way, you guys can look him up on YouTube. He has his own channel of music and Instagram and everywhere else, TikTok. His name is
What's his handle on all that stuff?
His real name is Austin Carter, but on everything else, look up Os the Bass Boss, and it's spelled AUSTHEBASSBOSS. The links, I put the link on all my YouTube videos. Os the Bass Boss. But anyways, like, so one day, you know, he had some shorts, some like pants and shorts and stuff, and my wife was like, "Hey, you're outgrowing these." Now, here's what's funny, Mike. I guess apparently I have shorter legs but a longer torso, so I may be like, I'm 5'11", but I'm, you know, I'm long, but from the waist up, right? Apparently, I've come to find out.
It's all torso.
Yeah, and
you're so Greco-Roman.
Exactly. That's what I guess I was a wrestler, and good at pull-ups or whatever. But so I was like, well, let me see if I can. Let me try those pants on. And dude, his actual pants and shorts fit. I'm like, so any shorts that I've been wearing the last 6 months, they used to belong to my son. So then I came up with a joke right then and there. I said something like, I never thought one day I'd be wearing hand-me-ups. You know? And it's cute. It's real, and it's hand-me-ups. like that's a real story that really happened, and you're like, oh, that's
Hand
cool.
me up sounds a lot better than I'm wearing my son's underwear.
Exactly. Yeah. Here's a silly joke that we came up with the other day, and this is a true story. And I'm going to figure out how to say it. I've said it a couple of times, and it is funny, but it is a pun, but it's true. I was in the shower, and as I was taking a shower, my wife's a great cook, and she cooks like almost every day, and probably every day actually. But I'm hearing the pots and the pans and the dishes, and I'm like, oh, this is exciting. I'm like, I wonder what meal she's making. And so as soon as I got out of the shower, I put my clothes on, I come out, and I'm like all excited, and I'm looking, and I don't see anything. And I'm like, oh, I thought you were cooking something. And she's like, no, I was just emptying the dishwasher. And I was like, oh, you got my hopes up. And then she made a pun, and she goes, yeah, I'm a cook tease. And dude, I've done it, and it's gotten laughs. I'm like, that's a real story. It really is something funny. And it's, boom, there it is.
That's a really good one. Yeah.
That's a good one, right? And especially on that it's clever and it's cute. And, we came up with another one about getting lost in the corn maze. Because I went to the corn maze one last time, like October 30th or something.
So this was your last bumpkin activity.
Yeah, the most recent bumpkin activity. And each year I come up, I have this bit about corn maze and Halloween, and it continues to grow each year. And this year I had my wherewithal to start doing it like in September, as opposed to usually I don't remember to do my Halloween bit till like the day of Halloween, and then I keep doing it till like January.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, New Year's is great, but what about Halloween?
Yeah.
So,
I hang on to my Halloween bits almost all year round. Like I'll start up again in February.
exactly, because they're great, right? And then.
Yeah.
They, of course, I really wasn't doing the Halloween bits in, quarantine for 2 years. So, anyways, the joke is on this one, it's like a silly, because that whole bit is about puns where I'm like, they get lost in the corn maze. They called 911, which is a true story. And then I pretend that the lady is like calling 911, and she's like, we're in a corn maze. I'm with my boyfriend Cornelius. We're from the Silicon Valley. We feel like we're being stalked. I mean, it's fun to do, and it's silly, and it's totally 100% clean. And so this time, the new bit that we added onto it was, remember, they're in that frame of puns, so they're not really groaning. They're usually laughing. Yeah. And I go, I never get lost anymore, because now I use an app called Waze, and they kind of laugh because it sounds stupid. I go, no, it's for the corn maze. It's called Corn Waze. And it's so dumb that it's like, they're already in the zone of that. It's like, Corn Waze, but yeah. But
so ridiculous.
But if I saw somebody like doing that, I'd be like, dude, I came up with that on the way to Tapia Brothers on the 101,
Yeah.
I like how I say I came up with it. I think I came up with my wife. Shout out to my wife.
Are you concerned that someone is going to steal the cornways?
I just want this to be documented in case anyone out there has any big ideas.
I don't want you stressing out about this too much. It's
maybe I'll be on Louis C.K.'s sitcom, and we can talk about it in the locker room soon.
Right, yeah.
Hey, Louis, we both do a cornways bit.
You can always register the joke with the Writers Guild for
exactly $1,000.
No, it's actually cheap. It's like $20.
Oh, is it?
Register your whole act, pretty much.
I like. There's this comedian. He's really funny. He did the podcast before, and he's really big on like corporate gigs and like the Midwest. He sells out everywhere. His name is. You might not know him, but do you know? Ever heard of Greg Hahn?
No.
Greg Hahn. Yeah, he's not a Comedy Store guy, but like this guy, big on the Bob and Tom show, and just like, in fact, we were in that movie together. That's going to be coming out with Paul Rodriguez and all the guys.
Oh, cool.
Danny Trejo. Yeah, we both play prison guards, and he's hilarious. But anyways, he does this really silly, over the top stuff. Like one of the bits he does is like when the cops come up to your car, and he has like a non-alcoholic beer on stage, and he literally pours it over his head, and he's like, "Hello, officer," and he like pours it over his head, and he's like, and I mean, he's just so over the top, silly and goofy. But then one of the things that he's one of the things that I'm laughing because I can picture him where he talks about going to the gym, and he goes, I like to chalk up. And then he starts slapping his hands, and he acts like he's like chalk is a big cloud all around him. And And then he just does all this silly, goofy, crazy shit. And then he stops and gets deadly serious. And he goes, "Nobody's stealing my shit." And then he goes back. Yeah, because it's like, yeah, nobody wants to steal your corn maze joke and your corn ways joke.
Right. Then he busts out his flashlight. It's like, oh
like,
no.
Damn it! Yeah, we both have flashlights. Can we? Listen, you do the flashlight bit when you're in town. I'll do it when I'm on the road. We'll share flashlights.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened to a lot of guys is they'd go on the road and realize that their act had already been there, you know.
Oh yeah.
And like nobody's laughing. They're like, "Oh, we've heard all these jokes."
I will say this. I told my son, I go, "Listen, if you ever want to do any of my jokes, do them. Go for it, man. Please. Like father and son, you go for it. I don't care." Like, it's
going to be like Gallagher.
I know Gallagher 1, Gallagher 2. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my son's a musician, so that's great. He's got quote unquote
You're
real
see
talent.
a bunch of people go, "Austin, the bass boss is hilarious." My own son.
My own son, he's selling out, and now I'm opening for him. But
yeah.
Here's a new beat that I came up with. I'm going to share it with you. Ready? It goes like this. It goes. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know what to do after that.
You don't have to do when a man shares it. When one man shares it.
I've never had someone share a beat with me before. I don't know the etiquette.
Dude, that was I actually was so into that beat, like I came up with it, that I literally like was doing it at home, and then I had to go to the mall, and I was in my car with the radio off, just doing my own beat for about 2 miles. I was at stoplights and everything. I was like, wow, this is, I was playing with it, you know, like.
This is really good. I'm doing something amazing.
And then my son started doing it, and then I think that, yeah, and that's the thing. There's audiences appreciate it, but the ones that you live with sometimes don't as much.
I could see that being a problem.
Yeah, I even tell the audience, like, it's cool in small doses, but try being with this for 25 years.
Just brush your teeth, Darren.
Darren, stop it, please, already. Like, yeah. Man, it's so good to have this computer back, knowing that we can actually get this episode out there. Oh, man.
Yeah, like, I'm glad we don't reference a lot of stuff that's like current events. So
yeah, I know. Like the previous one, we're like, well, the computer's in the shop, and I know Halloween's coming up.
Everybody.
Yeah. And now we're like, yeah, exactly. What if we're like, boy, this election will come up in 2 weeks, and we're like, you know, yeah, that's in one way that's good to kind of, yeah.
I bet it'll go just as everyone planned it to.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say that it feels good to have the computer back, doing podcasts again. I don't know, man. Like, I know you don't have a computer, so you wouldn't miss it if yours wasn't working, but maybe like your phone. Let's say your phone was in the shop and you didn't have a phone for like 7 days. It'd be weird, dude. It's so weird.
Oh, yeah. Well, anytime my phone is charging, where like if I leave it to charge and go do other stuff, it amazes me how often I think, oh, I'll just check my phone. Oh, right, it's in the other room. It's, you know, like I'm basically lobotomized without it at this point. I would say I'm about 99% dumber when I don't have access to my phone.
No, it's true. It's like I was looking up some movie clips. We'll talk about Christmas Vacation in a little bit, and I didn't have my computer last night, and I was like, oh, wait. Oh, so I'm watching it on my phone, have my phone on the tripod. Usually what I do is I'll have a YouTube video playing, and as it's sort of playing, I'm looking at my phone and looking at updates, and I realize, oh, I can't do that because the thing that I'm watching is right in front of me, and I don't have a phone to... Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I had my phone in the shop for a couple of hours. Luckily, they fixed it within 2 hours, like the face was cracked or whatever. I broke, one of my phones back in the day. Same thing. I'm like, wow, I'm just like twiddling my thumbs. Like, what do I do? Like, there's nothing to, they didn't even have anything to read. I was just like staring at like boxes of phones. Like, oh, what's this phone do? Like, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And people aren't equipped to deal with that in society anymore. It's like we're all such worker ants to that sort of thing that, like, if you've ever broken your phone and had to get it replaced, if you tell someone, oh, I broke my phone, I need to get it replaced. Oh, well, just call this number. I broke my phone. Oh, well, you can go to their website too. My phone is broke. Well, you could download the app. None of what you're saying makes sense with my problem,
I realize, like, they have to have I love it when they have a gentle demeanor. Like at that MacBook store, the lady was really, like, unless she's faking it, she probably is, but whatever. She seemed concerned and she seemed helpful. Like, she's like, you know what I mean? Like, she
might be faking it.
Yeah.
That waitress at Hooters really likes me.
She seemed like she really seemed concerned for my well-being.
I think we might have a future together.
I'm going to get her a teddy bear. Welcome to Raisins. I remember that episode of South Park.
Yeah.
It's Tiffany here. I've got her a teddy bear. Yeah, because she's like, she's like, ooh, you're going to need your Apple ID. And I'm like, Apple ID? I don't even have an Apple ID. That's how dumb I am. And she's like, everyone has to have an Apple ID. I'm like, well, I don't have one. I felt like an old man. Well, I don't have one. Me. And she's like, well, it'll be, usually it's attached to an email. And I'm like, oh. And then she told me, and then so we figured it out. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. All right. Oh, this is great. Like,
eventually it'll be a barcode on your forehead.
I know, right?
Easier.
So I went in there today to get the computer, and the guy ahead of me, she was helping him, and it was hilarious. He just straight up said it. He goes, he's like, yeah, because I called the Apple store or my Apple representative, and they just sent me in circles. He might have been Russian, actually, because I'm making him sound like way more American. Right. This guy was just matter of fact. He goes like, how do you say it again? He goes, and the guy on the phone, he was getting very sassy with me. And when she said, like, he said that, and then she couldn't help but like laugh, and I actually laughed too, because it just sounded, I knew exactly what he meant. He goes, he got very sassy with me, and for 15 minutes he started lecturing me about how I should be backing this up and backing that up, and I was like, oh my gosh, like when they're telling you need to, your phone doesn't work and you need to go to this website, and you don't want anyone sassy or snarky. Yeah,
and you don't want advice for time travelers,
right.
Like, all of this should have been covered when I got the phone. You should have told me you're going to need to back everything up because our products suck.
And this guy told me, or not, he didn't tell me, but I overheard it. He apparently what happened is he had Apple Care, and when he got his new computer, they wrote down the serial number to his previous computer and his previous thing, and They goofed up. They put the wrong information to his new computer, and he wasn't lying, because they're like, "Oh, your computer is from 2021," but it says here they serviced it in 2020. That doesn't even. She's like, "Oh, he inputted the wrong information on the wrong," and I'm like, "That's what I'm saying, human error,"
Yeah, it can be terrifying, if they get stuff like that wrong.
By the way, I was going to say, I know we are skipping around on, speaking of holidays, and this is not really a timestamp because I'm going way in the future, but I do love, I got to tell you, I know Thanksgiving is not here yet, but I don't know if it's because the COVID shutdown or whatever. I really appreciate Christmas, man. I really do. I feel like the colors are bright. I love the music. I love everything about it. I just love it. Even my son, Oz the bass boss. Yesterday he was saying, because his first, one of the first things he does, they're outside in the morning and it's sunny, and he goes, Dad, I like when it's sunny outside and the sky is blue but it's cold. He goes, it reminds me of Christmas time. And I'm like, and so I was fooling with the radio station, Sirius XM, and I think November 1st they started playing Holiday Traditions, and I'm like, dude, I'm all in. I used to be like one of those people that's like, nah, I don't listen to Christmas music till the week of, but I'm like, especially now that I'm on this Frank Sinatra kick, I can really appreciate, like, Andy Williams and some of those classic Christmas songs and singers, and
Target has been getting everyone horny for Christmas for like the past 2 weeks. You know, they don't mess around.
Right.
You know, they're like, aren't you excited about Christmas? Get Christmas. You know, they're super into it. But they were like doing the same thing for Halloween in June. You know, they're like, Halloween's coming. Aren't you excited?
It's true, right? Like I saw, like even Starbucks has their holiday traditions, their drinks, and they're like F's pumpkin spice latte. Now we're all about peppermint mochas. You know, but I'm into it though. I'm like, I'm not going to resist it. I love it. It's like, I think it's a great message. It makes me feel good. Like today, I was listening to Paul Anka, and I forget the song, but Paul Anka is interesting. He did you know that he wrote My Way, Frank Sinatra's My Way?
No.
I did it my way. Yeah, I guess the music was an Italian music, or it was another, but he came up with English lyrics to My Way. And he also wrote the Tonight Show theme song. And he wrote, like, the guy's just amazing, Paul Anka. Anyway, so I'm listening to this Christmas song, and I'm listening to him. It sounded like he's ad-libbing some songs or ad-libbing some lines in the song. It was just great. It was so cool. I love the Christmas stuff. Anyway, so the other night I'm channel surfing, and I saw the last 22 minutes of Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase, and man, it's so funny. That movie holds up. I could watch it every year and never get tired of it.
Yeah. For the third one in the series, you know, usually those are kind of lackluster, but
I didn't know that.
So good, you know, like the third movie in any series is kind of like, you know, is okay, but that one, the one they had done before was European Vacation, which was pretty good, but this one was like, they were like, okay, what made the original great? And they captured all of that.
So good.
Got the Christmas theme into it. Randy Quaid was really good. His whole part in there, all the relatives were really funny. It was set up so well. And that character, you get some of it in that first movie, but it really hit home in this one, of the dad who's just trying to make his family happy.
Oh man, I know.
It hits so perfectly in that movie, and like the harder he tries, the more it blows up in his face. It like you're rooting for that character so hard through the whole thing, you know.
It's so good. It's so fun. I did not know that it came out in '89. I didn't realize it was the third movie. I think that's the first one that really got my attention.
Yeah. The original is fantastic. National Lampoon's Vacation is a tremendous movie. Yeah, and then the second one was so, but that last one, or the last one of that series, was really good. Christmas Vacation. Yeah.
See, I think, I know I've seen 1 and 3. I think the second.
And then they did Vegas Vacation was pretty good.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah.
And then they did a reboot, kind of, where it's the guy from The Office. I can't remember his name right now, but he's playing like the young Griswold. But they had them as the grandparents, Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty fun movie too.
I like that one too, only because it's, the vibe. I was like, okay, I know what I'm getting into, and I know it's not going to be the original, but let's just enjoy and have some laughs. And I thought it was funny, but it's not as good as the originals, but I still had a good time watching it.
Oh yeah, same here. The original, I love the whole concept of it, is that they're basically taking a trip to Disneyland. But it's Wally World in the movie.
Yeah.
But when they get there, it's closed, and it's like, oh man, that would be the worst thing that could happen. And how he just kind of snaps when that happens. I was like, what a great concept for the finale of the movie, that he takes the security guard hostage and makes them take him around riding rides at gunpoint. I was like, that's so insane, but so like, anyone who's ever been on a long road trip with their family
Yeah.
would be at that mental state where that's a possibility.
Yeah.
If you got to Disneyland and it was closed after like
Yeah.
3 or 4 days of driving.
By the way, I like that line where he goes, he says something like, we're gonna have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking Kaye.
Yeah. Yeah, when his character loses it, it's so good. And Chevy Chase is such a brilliant writer and improviser and stuff like that. And not only that, he's so good at delivering.
Yeah.
That it's just this full culmination of rage that just about anyone has been through. So good.
So good, and when he does that monologue where he says something like he wishes somebody would, kidnap my boss and put a bow tie around his ass, and then you look at Cousin Eddie and you're like, oh, he's just the guy to do it.
Yeah, Randy Quaid sneaks out to go do it.
Yeah,
he was great in the first one too. It was so funny. Like his just this weird relative that everyone's got one of those.
I can't wait to watch it again. Like I said, I only saw the last 22, 23 minutes of it. And I'm like, oh, I love this movie and every character and so good. Mike, real quick, I was going to say, as I was looking for my passwords, I found this because I was like, well, let me keep them in a notebook, and I found another book, and this is one of those books that I got where I'm like, it's called My Top 10, and it's one of these things, a journal like to help you write like. You write down your top 10, whatever, like lists of things. And I thought, oh, this would be good for the podcast. Like just asking, I got it a couple of years ago, asking guests, like random questions. So I'm going to just flip through the pages randomly. Here we go. And instead of saying top, I'm not going to make you name 10 things, but this might, it says your top 10 perfumes or colognes. Do you have a perfume or cologne that you prefer? Yes or no, or maybe, or
whatever body spray is on sale is my.
Oh wow, that's cool. See, I'm not married to any perfume or cologne. I just use scented soaps, I guess. Favorite way to pamper yourself?
Oh, that's a good one. Probably a nice meal, though it shouldn't be, But like,
yeah.
If I go to someplace really nice to eat. That's a good one. Or getting a foot massage.
Interesting.
At the mall.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. I've never done that. How long do they do that? How long do they massage a person's feet? 10 minutes?
It's however long you pay them to do it. Basically, you can stay there all day if you've got that kind of money.
Really? That's hilarious.
For me, $10. I think for like $10 you get 10 minutes. It's not. They're making a great living, I think. But
do you think we should ever do a podcast? And you're the one that
walk around a lot, and so I get foot pain a lot. So
maybe that could be a podcast where I'm interviewing you as you're getting your feet massaged, and we'll get it on camera.
Hey, if you pay for it, I'm all for it.
Like, hey guys, this is our latest vlog. It's called Pampering Mike.
Mike was happy to do 3 hours of podcasting.
He's like, Darren, keep going, and more questions from your little book. Yeah,
but yeah, the problem is I'm also ticklish, and so like when they
we gotta film this, a giggling Mike Black.
A minute or two for my feet to adjust, and oh god, you don't want my feet on camera. They've been through the mill.
Oh yeah, we'll zoom out. We won't get too
Yeah, like crop out of it.
I even did a podcast once at a comedian's apartment, and we were like on the couch, and I had the camera set up across the way, and he's on one end of the couch, I'm on the other, and I realized he was barefoot, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, you mind putting some socks on? Like, just." I go, and he goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "No, because it's kind of we don't want to distract. We don't want. It's kind of gross looking. People don't want to see feet,
Yeah,
I'm like.
And there's some people that really, really do want to see feet, and we don't really want them.
Exactly. They're gonna be doing. TikTok's all about your feet.
Yeah. Not to kink shame anyone out there, but that's not the audience.
Yeah, exactly. What about children's books? Do you have a favorite children's book?
When I was a kid, I was real into a book called Funicula, which was the story of a vampire bunny.
Wow.
As children's books go, I thought that one was a lot of fun. But I guess my favorite, if I had to pick one, would have been Where the Sidewalk Ends.
Oh, yeah.
Shel Silverstein.
He's great.
Love that. They also had like scary stories to tell in the dark. And it was just like a collection of ghost stories. And
I just thought of an idea. Probably too hard to do, but what if it was a scary stories to tell in the dark and the pages were all glow in the dark, or the words, so you have to read it in the dark?
I guess you could.
Hey, on another subject, here's a new beat I came up with.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Mike Black, man. Thank you very much. All right, your next. Let me see. Your next dessert. Let's say you haven't had dessert for the next week, and then you finally get dessert. Do you go cake or do you go pie?
Pie, because ice cream is involved.
Ooh, I like it.
If it's like a good fruit sort of pie, like cherry pie or something like that. Yeah.
Last question, and your favorite thing about your city. Favorite thing about Los Angeles?
Oh man, that is a tough one. There's
top 5.
I guess my favorite thing would be that we have a lot of revival cinema, meaning there's a lot of old movies that play on a big screen all over town. Like I just saw Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I told you about that.
Oh, you actually saw that in the movie theater?
Yeah.
Dude.
Last night I saw Blade Runner at the Chinese Theater in IMAX.
Wow.
And there are other cities that offer that here and there, but we pretty much every night of the week you can see a classic on a big screen if you set your mind to it,
Wow. How did you find out about the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
How did I find out about that?
I mean, is there
Fandango. You can just in the morning just look on Fandango at your favorite theaters, and it'll have if there's like a special event movie like that. But the place to find out the most, I think, is New Beverly, their website, because they do showings every day of. It's usually double features.
Is that Quentin Tarantino's movie?
Yeah, it's his movie theater. Yeah, and they show 2 movies for I think $11, and they have great concessions. It's a cool little theater, but yeah, there are theaters like that all over town.
Let me ask you about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. For some reason, I didn't know you were in a theater watching it.
Yeah,
was it expensive to go see?
No, I think it was like normal movie price.
Like less than $15?
I think so, yeah.
That's so cool. And what was the crowd? Was it like a crowded theater? Was it like?
I would say it was about half full. I don't think they didn't do a lot of advertising for it or anything like that.
I think it's so cool. Yeah.
It happened to be the anniversary of the release. And so that's why it was in theaters that day. And I think it was the same thing with Blade Runner. It was like the day that it was released.
I'm asking all the dumbest questions because I should be asking questions about the movie, and I'm like, and how was parking? And was the popcorn buttered? And what was the temperature?
No, it's like it helps people find out about it and stuff like that. But like, if you have like a movie, like let's say you want to see The Empire Strikes Back on a big screen, you can set a Google alert for your town, like of just like Empire Strikes Back screening Los Angeles. And then when one comes up, it'll let you know about it. And so, because like seeing it on a small screen, that's not the way to see that movie.
Yeah.
That's definitely a cinematic experience that you want to have. And so sometimes you'll luck out and the movie will be playing pretty shortly after you look for it. And other times it may take 2 or 3 years. But they'll play anything. Like Garbage Pail Kids might be the worst movie ever made. But they played it at the New Beverly at a matinee like 2 weeks ago,
Nobody was there, but they played it.
No, people went because they were like, I'm never going to get this chance again to see this movie on a big screen.
That's awesome.
I saw the Muppet movie there. That was great.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
The whole audience was like singing along and everything.
Wow. That's awesome. I love stuff like that. That's
One of the best ones I got to do was one year on Arnold's birthday. They did Arnold Schwarzenegger all night, where the deal was it started at 7. They were going to show 6 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. So basically until sunup, they were going to show Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. But they didn't tell you which ones they were going to show.
Mm.
And so you just went into the theater blind, and they were like, we're going to show some of his biggest hits, and we're going to show some that people would not expect, And they had like little shorts in between from his career and stuff like that. And they had, specials on coffee to keep everyone awake and everything. It was a lot of fun. And they played like, I think the big ones were Predator and Terminator, but they also did like Kindergarten Cop and Raw Deal. And so it was a good mix,
You're like, I'll be napping for the next 3 hours during this movie.
Yeah. I think during Raw Deal, I stepped out and got a sandwich.
Yeah, that's funny. Mike, it's so great to have you back on, and let's do this again, because now I can actually get these out to the public. And I want to thank everybody for reviewing and sharing and throwing a little tip in the tip jar and just helping us out, helping this thing carry on.
Yeah, all the likes, follows, shares, it really makes a difference on independent podcasts like this. So the more of that you can do, the better. Share it with anyone you know.
Thank you, Mike. We'll talk soon, and let's do this again quicker than we did before. Now we can do it again. So thank you.
Absolutely, brother.
You
Have
got
a good
it.
one.
You too, my
Bye-bye.
man. Bye. And that was Mike Black, and thank you guys so much for look at you. You made it all the way through. If you want to hit that Venmo and buy us a cup of coffee or help us with some of our computer offset the cost, you can do that. All the links are below. Check it out. My Venmo is at Darren Carter Comic. Cash App, it's $ Darren Carter Comic. Other than that, thank you guys so much. Get out there. Have a great day, a great week. Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And we'll see you at a corn maze soon in October. And we won't get lost. Why? Because we have cornways. All right, guys. Lots of love. See you soon. Bye.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to The Pocket Party.